Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam Fats, aka Cam Jennings, coming at you on behalf of the Cam Fats YouTube channel. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on this fine Saturday morning. Hope you guys are doing amazing out there. Today, I want to talk to you about. Oh, hold on a second. Let me mute that. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. There we go. Okay, guys, today I want to talk to you about this concept of the Mandela effect being a conspiracy theory. Um, and I want to explore that a little bit because honestly, it's the implications of the Mandela effect being a conspiracy theory are, well, they're interesting. It implies a lot, and then on top of that, when I dug deeper into that, I started noticing some things, some quite shocking things, and I wanted to reveal those to you guys today. I made a mind map to walk you guys through everything that I discovered. So I kind of want to take you guys on the same journey that I discovered. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It might be pretty long. I do want to say that the point of this video is not to entertain anyone. The point of none of my videos are really to entertain anyone. The point of my videos when it comes to the Mandela effect are to move the conversation forward when it comes to the Mandela effect. I'm not interested in being, kind of voting video channel. Nothing against those channels that always are publishing new videos about new Mandela effects. Nothing against those channels. I love some of those channels. Moneybags, Scarab Performance, Lone Eagle, all those guys, EYA. I love the work that those guys do on their channels. But I'm not interested in being a channel that publishes new Mandela effects just for the sake of new Mandela effects to show you the new latest Mandela effects. What I'm interested in doing is filling that gap because I do feel like there's a gap. I don't feel like the conversation is being moved forward when it comes to the Mandela effect. Like I feel like you watch enough of these videos and you either believe it or you don't believe it, right? And then once you believe it, let's say you believe it, now you're kind of like, now what? I believe it. What the heck's really going on, though? What is actually happening? I do believe there's something happening. I've just seen something that is like irrefutable, right? Once you get to that place where you've seen something that's irrefutable to you, and you can't explain it, it's unexplainable. Then now all of a sudden you believe it. But now all of a sudden you're left with what now? Do I just keep watching more Mandela effect videos and discovering more and more weird things that are happening? Who wants to do that? I don't. So to me, like my job is to move the conversation forward and to try to kind of figure out what might be going on. So that's what these kind of analytical, researchy type videos are that I put out, you guys. It's really the conversation that's happening in my head to try to move the conversation forward when it comes to the Mandela effect. And I just share it with you guys to put it out there for you in hopes that maybe it can help some of you guys move that conversation forward as well. Um, Anyways, that's how I'm trying to contribute to the Mandela effect community. So today, I found myself asking a couple weeks ago, is the Mandela effect a conspiracy theory? And I want to walk you guys through what happened to me to make me ask that question in the first place and some of the answers I found because it goes beyond just is the Mandela effect a conspiracy theory. I'll tell you guys what I thought leading into this research, though. What I thought was the Mandela effect is not a conspiracy theory. The Mandela effect is a global phenomenon. It's bigger than any conspiracy theory. I felt like if I did the Google Trends on the Mandela effect and any other conspiracy theory, they would be down here, and the Mandela effect would just like be exploded way up here. That's what I thought I would find. Um, that's not what I found. So let me go over to screen share now. Let me show you what I actually found because it's kind of shocking. And I'll tell you something else. I tried to do this video yesterday and the sound got messed up. And I apologize for any of you guys that were here yesterday trying to watch that video. The sound got messed up, but that's okay because I think today we're going to be able to do it even better because I've already done the test run. And also, one thing I didn't do yesterday was I didn't check the chat over here good enough. People were asking me questions and making comments and stuff, and I wasn't checking it. I was so wrapped up in my little mind map that I wasn't checking back in with the chat. So, guys, if you're live and you want to make a comment or ask a question, I'll try to check back in with the chat a little bit more frequently today. So, I've already done this once, so I should be better at it today. Anyways, let's go ahead and move over to screen share. Okay, so here we are. Here we are on our little mind map here. Is the Mandela effect a conspiracy theory? And when I started, this was the question I asked. And then later I said, you know what? I guess what I really want to know now is it an engineered conspiracy theory? Right? That's kind of where I kind of went to after that. Not just is it a conspiracy theory, but is it an engineered conspiracy theory? So let's start at the beginning, guys. We're going to take this in 3 parts. We're going to start at the beginning and we're going to move through to the end. All right, guys. So let's get into it. After each one of these big bubbles, I'm going to check with the chat and see if I missed anything. I'm going to check in with you guys in between each of these bubbles so that I can see if what you're saying. And I should have took the advice of my wife and put up another screen here with so I could read comments and stuff. But I really don't have that big of an audience. My channel's still pretty small, so I don't expect like tons and tons of chats and stuff. I don't know why I had so much yesterday. But anyways, if I start getting a lot more audience and stuff and a lot more comments and stuff, then I will put an extra monitor up and I'll be able to read the chats at the same time. But for now, we're just going to check in between these bubbles. So anyways, guys, let's get into this. All right. The beginning. How did this all get started? Here's where it gets started. All right. I stumbled across this article a couple weeks ago because see what happens is I have Google alerts for the Mandela effect in my Google alerts. If you don't know what Google alerts is, you can actually tell Google to notify you by email every time a specific keyword is mentioned on the internet. Every time something is published with a specific keyword, Google will send you an email to let you know. I have that Google alert set up for myself to notify me whenever something comes up with the Mandela effect. So that way I can kind of stay up to date on the latest of what's happening with the Mandela effect because I am interested in moving that conversation forward like I told you guys. And one of the ways I can do that is by, staying current with what's happening. So anyways, an article came out by this newspaper called The Gauntlet. It's a college newspaper for the University of Calgary. That's in Canada. And it's not like a big newspaper. It's a college newspaper. It's a small publication. But what I thought was interesting, and let me show you the article. What I thought was interesting about this article was it was kind of funny. It was tongue in cheek. It was just kind of tongue in cheek article. It was like Mandela effect calls a student to hand in assignment late, and I read it. And at first, I was reading it seriously. But then I realized, oh, okay, joke's on me. This is just some stupid thing. The only reason I was reading it seriously is because I'm like semi-obsessed with this stupid, effect or phenomena. This is supposed to be a joke. And then I thought, like, why do people think this is funny? That like I don't understand what's funny about like the world being changed in various ways that don't make any sense. And like, who knows why, possibly the end of days or possibly Large Hadron Collider creating micro black holes that, rip up the space-time continuum. Who knows? Who knows why? All I know is these things appear to be happening. And what's funny about that? Nothing seems funny about that to me. So I was a little confused. People are kind of poking fun at it a little bit, making, just kind of laughing about it, having a laugh about it. And it kind of made me start thinking, wow, I think that people kind of you know, don't take this quite as seriously as I do. That's for sure. So that's kind of what started this. And, at that time, I thought, people kind of think this must be like a conspiracy theory or something. Um, because that's how I felt they were treating it, like a simple conspiracy theory. Nobody really truly believes it. It's just a thing, kind of like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness monster or something. It's not real. Conspiracy theory. People who truly believe in it, people who truly get obsessed with it, are crazy, are wackos, right? So this is what I thought was happening, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, Mandela effect's not a conspiracy theory. Okay, this is a real global phenomenon that's going on here. This is crazy, and this was my opinion at the time. The Mandela effect is bigger than any conspiracy theory I've ever heard of. What I figured out later was that is not true. That is not true. The Mandela effect is, in fact, not bigger than any conspiracy theory I've ever heard of. Um, and It's questionable whether it is a conspiracy theory or not. And I'll lead you on the path that got me to those conclusions. So let's start with the article, and then I got this comment a few days back. Someone commented on one of my videos. I did a video about CERN a while back. It's about an hour long video. It's a pretty long video, and it was a timeline. And I just kind of speculated between events that happened at CERN and events that happened with the Mandela effect. And I was kind of pointing out to people there's a heavy relation between time periods of when events happened. If you look at the timeline, um, and I wasn't really trying to be funny. It was the same kind of video. I wasn't trying to be entertaining. It was the same kind of video we're having now, where basically I'm trying to move the conversation of the Mandela effect forward, and I'm just kind of letting you guys see what that conversation looks like in my head. Um, so this guy wrote on that video a couple days ago, no way, an hour? No way, bud. I got stuff to do. Plus, your lack of enthusiasm puts me to sleep quicker than the old days of sitting in a classroom. And I say back to him, I say, how enthusiastic should I be about a giant collider creating miniature black holes that disrupt space time? Do you want me to do handstands or something? It's like I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to be entertaining here. But then I thought about it and I was thinking, like, you know what? This guy, he wants it to be entertaining because he doesn't really take this that seriously. You know what I mean? He's kind of like part of that crowd who just, it's a conspiracy theory. It's just an entertainment thing. It's just something to do to pass the time. It's not really taken completely seriously. 'Cause I think if people really took it seriously, then it would be a lot bigger deal and a lot less, hey, be more entertaining, buddy. That's what I think. So when I take the article here and I take this guy's comment, it really got me starting to think about, well, I mean, is the Mandela effect a conspiracy theory? Is it? I mean, what are we talking about here? What is actually happening? Why are some people not taking this very seriously, but then you have a few people like me that are taking it really seriously? So what am I looking at here? Am I the weird conspiracy theorist weirdo that everybody laughs at because it's another conspiracy theory? So I had to find out. I had to dig deeper. So why do I make these videos? Here's why I make these videos, okay? I want to move the conversation forward in regards to the Mandela effect. I want to truly know what is happening. I believe that people watch the new Mandela effect videos for one of two reasons. Number one, they're looking for more like validation. Probably affirmation wasn't the right word there. They want more validation that what they are seeing is real, something that they could show other people that is definitive proof that something weird is going on. Right? They keep on searching for more and more proof that something weird is going on that they could show other people that nobody could doubt. And that's why certain people keep on watching new Mandela effect videos. And that's why I keep watching them, I think. And then, two, they're looking to be entertained by a flavor of the month conspiracy theory. And that's why some other people watch Mandela effect videos, right? Now, I think if you're number one, then I think that my channel can provide value to you. I think that if you're number two, then my channel's not going to provide value to you. So that's what I believe. And I tell you something, like, there's so many good people. Let me just move on. Um, it's not my intention to publish videos every few days documenting a new Mandela effect. Okay. There are people that do a way better job of that than I could or would want to do. It's covered. We got people like Moneybags out there doing it. We got people, like I said, Scared Performance out there doing it. We got people like great people like EYA out there doing it. Um, and they do great videos, right? It's covered. If I see something that someone else has covered and I feel like I can add to the conversation that would move the Mandela effect conversation forward, then I will do it, right? Then I'll cover a Mandela effect. But if it's unnecessary and it doesn't move the conversation forward, I don't feel the need to do it. That's not really what my channel's about. But I don't want to just talk about specific effects for the sake of it being an effect. Um, there are thousands of them, right? There's thousands of these effects, possibly even millions. It's unprecedented how many there are out there. I can't keep track of them all. It's everything from the Bible to movies to music to radio to real life events to history. Everything. It's like everything is affected. This is the kind of thing that could make you doubt everything, and that makes it a little bit insidious if you ask me. So yeah, that's what I'd say about that, right? So that's kind of where this all started. Um, and then the second thing I want to talk about when it comes to the beginning of this video is conspiracy theory definition. Because if the Mandela effect is in fact a conspiracy theory, then that means a couple things, right? And I want to talk to you about what it means, okay? Because number one, the first definition I found for conspiracy theory, it's a belief that some covert but influential organization is responsible for a circumstance or event, right? That's not so bad. You believe that some covert but influential organization is responsible for a circumstance or event. Not so bad, right? There's the definition right there. But now the second definition, I think, really gets into the heart of people's perception of a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy theorist, right? Because this just the second one right underneath it is the Wikipedia conspiracy theory. And we look at that, it says a conspiracy theory is the fear of a non-existent conspiracy, right? You're afraid. But that's not a good quality to be afraid of something, right? It's a negative quality. It's a quality that people don't desire. Uh, the fear of a non-existent conspiracy, right? So you're afraid of something that doesn't exist, right? A non-existent conspiracy or the unnecessary assumption of a conspiracy when other explanations are more probable, right? Evidence showing it to be false or the absence of proof of the conspiracy is interpreted by believers as evidence of its truth, thus insulating it from refutation. So this I think that this definition of a conspiracy theory is a lot more in line with the public perception of people who believe in conspiracy theorists, right? It's a lot more in line with how people perceive someone who says they believe in a conspiracy. And guys, make no mistake about it. When you see definitions like this one, and I do believe it's in line with the public perception of people who believe in conspiracy theories, make no mistake. When you see a definition like this is designed to do one thing, all right? It's designed to take away your voice. Because if you believe in something like the Mandela effect, and everyone else has lumped it into the category of conspiracy theory, then what happens is your opinion becomes less valid. Your opinion becomes more able to be disregarded. So definitions like this essentially take away your voice if you believe in something that is labeled a conspiracy theory. And it's not just this definition. This is just one small little definition that is part of a giant collective of information and propaganda that basically attacks anyone who believes anything outside of the norm, right? from UFOs to Bigfoot to Loch Ness monster to you name it, anything outside of the norm. Some of these conspiracy theories have actually been found to be true. And then what happens? Then what happens is it goes away. Oh, I guess he was right. Oh, I guess that old crazy guy was right. That's what happens, right? It doesn't really make this definition of conspiracy theory go away. What happens is that just becomes like the guy who won the lottery of the million people who played, right? This one guy won the lottery. Well, this one thing happened to be true. I guess that's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It doesn't take away from the fact that conspiracy theories are still crazy, or that we believe they're crazy, or that we're still taking away the voice of anyone, or the opinion, the importance of the opinion of anyone who believes in these theories. Doesn't mean that's not happening. It just means this one thing happened to be true, right? So you see what I'm saying? This is a dangerous kind of definition, right? And what it really does, like I said, is it takes away the voice of anyone who believes in a conspiracy theory. All right, so that's that, and that's the wiki. And guys, that's right on Wikipedia, and everyone goes to Wikipedia. Boom! Look at that. A very negative connotation of what a conspiracy theory is, and it doesn't say very much positive about people who would believe in a conspiracy theory, right? So I think that's interesting that we find that, and you find that everywhere. Okay, so that's part two of that, and I want to go ahead and close the beginning up. And before I move on to the middle of this, that was kind of setting the stage for this conversation. But basically, I wanted to let you know why I was here doing this video and what I'm trying to do with these videos. And then I wanted to kind of paint the picture of what a conspiracy theory is and how the world perceives people who believe in conspiracy theories. So let me go over here to make sure that no one has anything to say. Okay. And I didn't expect anyone have anything to say really, because it's the middle of the daytime, and my channel's not that big. But very cool. Just wanted to check in, do my due diligence. Let me go ahead and say, hey, what's up? Anybody? I'll be answering any questions here and checking in between bubbles. I'll put that little message there for people. All right, let's get back to it, guys. I know a lot of you guys are going to be watching this on replay. I know a lot of the people who do watch my videos, they tend to watch in the afternoon and the evening, so I didn't expect a lot of live people being on today. Besides, like I said before, my channel's not that big anyway. Anyways, let's get into the middle of this. All right. The next thing I wanted to do, guys, was I wanted to check the trends, right? And the whole thing, the whole definition thing about conspiracy theories, that did not surprise me. It didn't surprise me one bit. I mean, I already knew what the world's perception of conspiracy theorists were. I mean, it's my perception too. I mean, when I think of someone who believes in Bigfoot, or someone who believes in the Loch Ness monster or something like that, or I tend to think, okay, man, whatever. It's a little weird. That's fine. If you want to believe that, go ahead. It doesn't really affect me at all, but I don't really believe that. That's kind of how I feel about it. A lot of other people tend to label people kind of crazy or wackos, at the very least, eccentric, outcast, or on the outskirts of society. So well, let's check the trends on this, because I was really curious. Now I was wanting to know, like, what I wanted to know what the difference was between the Mandela effect and these other conspiracy theories. Does the Mandela effect just blow away all these other conspiracy theories? Is it a global phenomenon like I thought? Is it way, way bigger and more popular than all these other conspiracy theories? That's what I wanted to know. Let me check my sound real quick, guys, because yesterday I was having trouble with sound. Global phenomenon like I thought? Is it way, way bigger and more? Yeah, great. Okay, so when I pulled up my Google Trends here, I typed in Bigfoot. I typed in the Mandela effect. Just getting a drink of water, guys. I typed in Loch Ness monster, and I typed in flat Earth. Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster, I feel like, hey, that's classic conspiracy theory. They've been going on since the beginning of time. Mandela effect and flat Earth are kind of newer things. Um, and I felt like they were big right now. So, and this is what I pulled up, surprisingly enough. Now, I thought Mandela effect would be like way up here and all this other stuff would be way down here. That wasn't true at all. In fact, if you notice, this blue right here, you want to know what this blue is, you can see the blue is Bigfoot. Bigfoot is the blue. Man, people really believe in Bigfoot. It's amazing. I had no idea that Bigfoot was such a big deal, that so many people believed in the Bigfoot conspiracy. I mean, it seems kind of like nonsensical to me, but I mean, this really got my attention. Um, but the Mandela effect's just, as you guys know, the Mandela effect reached its height of popularity in 2016. And but it's just clumped in here with the rest of them, right? It's just clumped in here with the rest of them. And that's what I wanted to point out. In fact, Bigfoot is way more popular and sustainable over the long haul, right? You could argue, man, if you wanted to do a YouTube channel and you were just interested in getting views or something like that from a marketing standpoint, if I'm a marketer, I'm thinking, well, man, look at Bigfoot. Bigfoot has a following. He's had a following. He's always going to have a following. If I did a YouTube channel about Bigfoot, it would do well and it would be sustainable. That's what I would think as a marketer. And it kind of floored me. I was like, wow, is the Mandela effect just a conspiracy theory? It's just the flavor of the month conspiracy theory? Is that what I'm dealing with here? Well, how is that possible? I mean, how is it possible that that's the truth? Why would that be? I mean, we're talking about something that affects everything. That affects everything. I mean, the thinker statue, Moses with horns, the freaking Bible, you know, um, movies, music, everything. So why is it that it's just the same level of popularity as everything else? Why is that? Why are they so clumped together? I don't understand that. It didn't make sense to me. It kind of floored me, to be honest with you. So I had to look deeper, right? So Bigfoot, the granddaddy of all conspiracy theories. And I didn't know this. I mean, I knew Bigfoot was a thing, but I didn't know it was going to be that popular. So I had to dig deeper and I took the questions a little bit deeper because sometimes with the Mandela effect, you got to peel back a layer. You just can't type in the thing. You got to start asking questions around the thing. You got to peel back a layer. So what I did was I typed in, is the Mandela effect real? And then I typed in, is Bigfoot real? And then I typed in, is flat earth real? And then I thought, you know what? I don't think people are going to be searching for, is flat earth real? I think most people are going to be searching for, is the earth flat? Right? So here's what happened. As you can see, Mandela effect is blue. Well, you can't even hardly see the blue. Now I want you to understand Google Trends, okay? This is arbitrary. You see the 100 here? Like this is related to popularity. It's not related to like thousands of people or millions of people or anything like that. It's related to interest. It's related to, so what happens is, you know, at a keyword's height of popularity, it's going to hit 100. At the height of popularity for a keyword, it's going to hit 100. All right. And that'll be its height of popularity. Now, if you start comparing keywords, usually you're going to have one that hits 100, and then you're going to have everything else in relation to that one thing, right? So the reason why you're not seeing the Mandela effect on this timeline, now this timeline is from 2004 to 2019, by the way. This is 20 years of data, right? This is 2004, yeah, almost 15 years of data. So the reason you're not seeing a Mandela effect because it never reached much popularity compared to when compared to, is the earth flat? You see, is the earth flat? It blew up, right? It blew up, it blew up. It started blowing up in July of 2015. and you see it was pretty sustainable for like 10 plus years. Is the earth flat? It was just something people searched for regularly over the last 10 or 15 years, and then all of a sudden in November of 2015, December 2015, it just started blowing up, right? And that I thought, man, that's really weird. Why did that happen? Why did that start blowing up? Is the earth flat? And it was way bigger of a deal than Mandela effect at that time. Way bigger, you know? Well, bigger of a deal than is the Mandela effect real. More people were typing in is the earth flat than is the Mandela effect real. So just keep that in mind, guys. Now, what I was doing when I was doing all this was I was trying to get a feel for these conspiracy theories, and I was trying to get a feel for timelines and when people cared about them and why people cared about them and how they kind of related to each other as far as like why is this one more popular than this one, why is it in this year this was more popular than this one, what was happening that made people so interested in this one thing, right? So that's what I was doing. All right, so there's that. And you could say, well, the granddaddy of them all is either Bigfoot or flat Earth, right? So I wanted to know what it looked like if I typed in flat Earth and the Mandela effect. What did they look like in trending? So that's what I did next. Now, keep in mind, guys, all of this stuff I was doing was related to my desire to understand how the world perceives the Mandela effect. Is it just another conspiracy theory? Have I just been drawn down a rabbit hole, chasing another conspiracy theory? And if so, how is that possible? Because it seems like all this stuff has changed. Some of it's undeniable. I know it's changed. But anyways, when I compare these two things, Mandela effect, flat Earth, what I'll find what I found that was interesting is, first of all, nobody cared about the Mandela effect until August 2015. We already knew that. But second of all, um, flat Earth was very sustainable. It was a very sustainable movement. People had been typing in flat Earth for 10 years. From 2004 to 2014, people had been typing in flat Earth. It was a very sustainable thing. And for some reason, and this mirrors the Mandela effect, right around August and May, June 2015, they both started shooting up. Boom. And there, flat Earth spikes. And right there, a few minutes later, the Mandela effect spikes. And they're just both extremely popular right there. And now, guys, that is weird. Why would they both get popular right at the same time? That's very strange. And when I looked at this is the first time I started thinking in my mind, like, you know, personally, in my heart, like, I feel like the Mandela effect is real. Like, there are changes that have happened that I cannot explain away. However, the marketing mind that I have, the mind that reads analytical data tells me this is a sign that something has been manipulated. This is a sign. This data is telling me a different story. This data is telling me that things have been manipulated. There's no reason why these two things would gain interest at the exact same time. Um, but it's just, like a spider sense, it's just a spider sense. It's just a slight thing. You could say things that explain why they would both start gaining a ton of interest at the same time. You could say things that could explain it away. But I tell you, I'm a professional marketer and it's my job to part of my job is to read analytical data like this. And my spider sense of marketing is telling me it doesn't quite add up right here. So just keep that in mind. All right, so let's dig even deeper. Okay, Pizzagate. Who remembers Pizzagate? Pizzagate was a weird conspiracy theory. It was debunked. I'm not going to go into what Pizzagate is. You guys can look that up. That's not what this video is about. But it was a debunked conspiracy theory that went viral during the 2016 United States presidential election cycle. Now that clicked some bells with me. The 2016 presidential election cycle. I'm not a very political person, so it was something that it was an oversight on my part. I wasn't interested in politics, especially in 2016. I did not care about that U.S. presidential election at all. But Pizzagate was a conspiracy theory that happened around that time, and Pizzagate was a big deal, and it was debunked. Okay, but not before a guy who bought completely into Pizzagate like stormed into a restaurant and opened fire looking for the kidnapped kids. Right, that actually happened. So it was insane, but it was eventually debunked. That wasn't a real thing. And what's funny about that is, I thought Pizzagate was real. I thought that was a real thing, um, but it was not. It was not a real thing. It was debunked. So interesting. But let's look at the trends on this because I found this to be very interesting. So I typed in Pizzagate and I typed in Mandela effect and I typed in flat Earth. Three supposed conspiracy theories. And let's see what they say because you're going to find this interesting. And guys, I know this might be boring, but I'm painting a picture for you here. I'm starting to paint a picture. So stay with me here because we're painting a picture and I have to build upon this picture. I have to take it step by step for you to see the whole thing. Look at this. Here's Pizzagate right here. Out of nowhere, boom, December 2016, Pizzagate out of nowhere hits a height of popularity. Nobody'd even heard of it before then. But here's Flat Earth starting to come up. Here's the Mandela effect hitting the height of popularity in August of 2016. And then very, very shortly after that, boom, just a couple months after that, boom, Pizzagate comes out of nowhere. So all these conspiracy theories were spiking in popularity right around the same time. Right around the same little group of months, all these conspiracy theories were popping up and people started getting interested in them all at the same time. Do you guys think that's a little odd that people would start getting interested in all these weird conspiracy theories right at the exact same time? I think that's a little strange. My analytical mind tells me that doesn't quite add up. It doesn't quite make sense. Why would that happen? My analytical mind tells me that that's a sign of manipulation. That's a sign that maybe we're being influenced by some outside force. We're being influenced artificially by something. Like this information, maybe, possibly, might be being, put out there on purpose. That's what this is telling me. Now I know you're looking at this and probably like me, you're thinking, well, dude, how does someone artificially manipulate the book on my shelf? You know, you can't manipulate the Bible that I've had sitting on my bookshelf for 60 years that I inherited from my grandpa. You can't manipulate that. Hey, I understand that. I understand that completely. You can't manipulate the VHS copy of Star Wars that I've had for 20 years. I understand that. I understand it completely what you're saying. But what you have to understand is I'm just telling you what the data is telling me. The data is pointing to manipulation, right? Now, I'm not saying I understand how someone would manipulate something like the Mandela effect because I don't understand how that could be manipulated. But isn't that the point, guys? When you go to a magic show, you go to a magic show because you don't know how he did it. You don't know how that guy did it. We all want to know how he did it, and we all know that he did it. We know it's not real. We want to know how he did it, but we don't know how he did it, right? And you ever notice, like with a magic trick, like once you figure out how the guy did it, then it's not fun anymore. It's not fun anymore. It's fun because we don't know how he did it. It's mystical almost. But imagine something like the Mandela effect, where we don't know how they would do it, and it appears supernatural. That magician would appear supernatural too if we didn't know it was just a trick. But with a magician, we know it's a trick. With the Mandela effect, we don't know it's a trick. We have no idea how it could be done. But let's move deeper. Okay. So that's interesting. Okay, so that's that. But this said something interesting to me. It said the 2016 United States presidential election. So that kind of flipped a switch for me personally. And I was like, wait a minute here. So I wanted to dig a little deeper. So I did a trend on the United States presidential election and I compared it to this other stuff: Pizzagate, Mandela effect, flat earth, and 2016 presidential election. Just getting a drink of water here, guys. Let me check comments here. Make sure there's no one here talking. Just checking in on you guys. Hey, what's up, Dissimulant? Yeah, Dissimulant says good stuff. Thinking controlled releases, maybe. Yeah, man, that's kind of what it feels like, doesn't it? It definitely feels like some kind of controlled release situation, which is crazy. It sucks to feel like you're being manipulated in some way. But anyways, look at this, guys. Here's the 2016 U.S. presidential election. I didn't put U.S. It just says 2016 presidential election, but everybody knows what the deal is. When you typed in 2016 presidential election, everybody knows what they were looking for: the U.S. presidential election. But look at this, guys. The U.S. presidential election. That's by far the biggest, most popular thing. But if you look at all these three conspiracy theories, they all spike up leading to this election right around the exact same time. They're spiking up right around the time of the election. Now, I'm not saying that, I know there are things that we see with the Mandela effect that can't be explained, that can't be described, that don't make sense. I understand that. Okay. But what I am saying is you cannot ignore this data. This data is telling a story that cannot be ignored. You have to consider it. You have to consider it. Okay. So let's move on. All right. Is the Mandela effect a global phenomenon? I had to go deeper, you guys. When I see data like that that points to manipulation, I have to go deeper. So then I was thinking back to what Scary Performance always says in his videos. He always says something like, and if you haven't seen any of his videos, go check them out because they're awesome. But he always says something like, the Mandela, you're about to experience the global phenomenon known as the Mandela effect. And like I always thought, yeah, man, that's a really great way to say that, man, because it really does feel like a global phenomenon, and things are changing all over the world. So now, given this new data with everything spiking up at the same time, right around the presidential election, I had to take this a step deeper. So I had to ask that question: is the Mandela effect a global phenomenon? Let's look on Google Trends and see who is looking for the Mandela effect. Because if the Mandela effect is changing things all over the world, then the entire world should be interested in this subject. That makes sense, right, you guys? The entire world should care about the Mandela effect because it's changing things all over the world. It's changing music all over the world. It's changing movies all over the world. It's changing history all over the world. It's changing, you know, historical statues all over the world, things that have been there forever, paintings, things that are not just in America. It's changing. So when I did worldwide search results for the Mandela effect, worldwide search results, here's what I found. Now it's not showing me the map. So let's uh let's try it again. Let's do it right here. Mandela effect. So I don't know why that map's not working. Let's make sure let's get a fresh one. Because I want to show you guys what the map looks like what the map looks like for interest. Now, this is pretty telling. And this is probably going to freak some of you out. I'll be honest with you. It's probably going to freak some of you guys out. But we're talking about engineered conspiracy theory here. That's what I'm starting to get a sense for. Engineered events, things that have been manipulated on purpose to change people's belief systems. I want to point something out here. While this is pulling up, you guys, I want to point something out here. The easiest way in the world to take someone's knowledge away is to introduce doubt. You could take a smart person that knows a lot of things. You can take a smart person that knows a lot of things, and you can introduce doubt into something, and you'll essentially take that knowledge away. And that's a scary thing. And that's exactly what the Mandela effect does. It takes our knowledge away. It makes us doubt things. It makes us doubt everything. And that is a scary thing. But I want you guys to look at interest by region. Why is it that only people in America, which is at 100%, seem to care about the world being changed? People in Russia don't seem that interested in the world being changed. It's only America and the cultures that are highly influenced by America. That's Cape Town down there, by the way. That's South Africa. That's Cape Town. It's only people in America, which is at 100%, and other areas of the world that are highly influenced by Western culture that are interested in the Mandela effect, but nowhere greater than America. Nowhere greater than America. Why is it that we're the only ones who care about the Mandela effect? Now, I don't have to tell you guys what this data is saying. This data is telling a story. This data is telling a story, and it's telling us that we have been targeted. America has been targeted. That's what it is telling me. This is telling me that America has been targeted. It makes no sense why a global phenomenon that's changing things all over the world would only affect America. And that points to manipulation, you guys. I hope you can see that. That points to manipulation. Okay, so let's take this a step deeper. Okay. Let's compare it to other conspiracies worldwide. This might not work because for some reason I've been having to pull these up. I've been having to pull these up. I'm having to redo the equation for some reason on here, but that's okay. I'll redo it so we're gonna go Mandela effect, Bigfoot, flat Earth. And I might have to retype these in, guys. So just bear with me here. My job is to move the conversation forward when it comes to the Mandela effect. What is the Mandela effect? Why is it happening? Because I'm past looking at new Mandela effects. I'm over looking at new things that appear to have changed. I'm over that, man. I want to know why it's happening. That's what I want to know. Okay, so this is worldwide data. Let's see. And I got that's a comparative breakdown. We're gonna ignore that. What we want the individual breakdown. It's not showing us individual breakdown. So what we're gonna do is Mandela effect, Bigfoot, flat Earth. Let's go ahead, let's remove it, and we're gonna redo them. So bear with me, guys. Be patient with me. Gonna remove this one. And we're gonna remove this one as well. Actually, this looks like it's reloading here. So let's see if man, it's moving slow today. Come on now. Let's see if yeah, okay, we got it. We got our map for Mandela effect. As we can see, Mandela effect only affecting people in the United States, guys. It's a global phenomenon that only affects Americans. It's amazing. Around the time of the US election in 2016. Okay. All right, so Bigfoot. What about Bigfoot? What does that look like? Okay. We know Bigfoot's a bigger phenomenon than the Mandela effect. But what about globally? Like what do the searches look like? That's the question. So let me scroll down. There's Mandela effect, and there's Bigfoot. Interest by region. Now this guy's look. You know what? This is 2004 to present, so we're looking at like 15 years of data for Mandela effect and Bigfoot. Okay, and look, you can see that Bigfoot is more popular than the Mandela effect. Mandela effect got more popular around the time of the U.S. presidential election in 2016. Okay, and let's look at the individuals. Mandela effect only pretty much targeting the United States. Bigfoot, it's like, you know what I mean? It's everywhere, almost like all over the place. People believe in Bigfoot. It's more spread out. It's not as targeted. It's spread out. There are places where people don't believe in Bigfoot or people don't care about Bigfoot, like this freaking desert here in Africa. People don't care about Bigfoot, but like this is more desert right here, I believe. But right up here in Russia, people sure care about Bigfoot and in Australia. But none of this is targeted like the people in the United States care about the Mandela effect. Now I could type in another one, flat Earth, and let's see what that pulls up. What's the interest in flat Earth? Because you guys saw the trends a little bit ago when I showed you how popular flat Earth was getting. Out of nowhere, flat Earth was getting popular, spiking up right around the same time, and it just kind of took off like wildfire, right? So let's get a breakdown. Again, flat Earth, extremely targeted. Targeted, very, very targeted, right? Nobody in the rest of the world seems to care about flat Earth like America and these few places like Cape Town and Australia that are heavily influenced by Western culture. Another conspiracy targeting America. I mean, it blew my mind. Now, it didn't explain to me how they could do it. It didn't explain to me how it makes sense. I mean, how can someone change, history? How can someone change my Bible? How can someone change the movie on my bookshelf? That doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not going to ignore this data. This data is telling me these events are manipulated to target the United States. That's what this data is telling me. So, all right. So let me go ahead and close this up. Um, that's what happened when I checked the trends. Now I want to talk about the stigma of conspiracy theorists, and I talk about this a little bit, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but I do want to point out. Um, I read an article over here on Science Daily. I'm not going to get into this too much, but this was an article over here on Science Daily. They did some research on conspiracies and conspiracy theories, and what kind of people believe in conspiracy theories, right? So, news research by Josh Hart, associate professor of psychology, suggests that people with certain personality traits and cognitive styles are more likely to believe in conspiracy theories. These people tend to be more suspicious, untrusting, eccentric, needing to feel special, with a tendency to regard the world as an inherently dangerous place. Right? Guys, those are all negative qualities that nobody wants. Society doesn't want those qualities, right? So if you're labeled as having those qualities, like that's not a good label. Nobody wants those qualities. It's almost enough to make someone not believe in a conspiracy theory just so they won't be labeled that way, right? So that kind of points to, I just want to point that out because that's the stigma that goes along with conspiracy theories, right? And there's information like this everywhere. They are also more likely to detect meaningful patterns where they might not exist. Oh, they're more likely to be crazy and paranoid. People who are reluctant to believe conspiracy theories tend to have the opposite qualities. Oh, wait, so people who are reluctant to believe in conspiracy theories tend to be not suspicious, tend to be more trusting, tend to be less eccentric, tend to not to need to feel special, tend to regard the world as an inherently safe place. So all positive qualities, right? So if you believe in conspiracy theories, bad. If you don't believe in conspiracy theories, good. It's stupid. It's just stupid, and it's designed to get us not to question things. I want you to see that. I want you to see the stigma that goes along with believing in conspiracy theories. That when something's labeled a conspiracy theory, basically anyone who talks about it is a wacko. And basically anyone who talks about it seriously is a wacko. So what you have is you have a bunch of people who see things that are really weird that don't add up, but they're not going to commit fully to it because they don't want to be wackos. They're just going to kind of dip a toe. And that's what you have with the Mandela effect. A bunch of people on YouTube and a bunch of people in the real world just dipping a toe because they don't want to commit to anything that's going to make them look like a wacko. They're just going to be like interested in it, like researching it, or making videos about it or whatever, but they're not going to commit to it fully because they don't want to be labeled a wacko. And that's why. Conspiracy theories are not taken seriously by the socially acceptable mainstream, and conspiracy theorists are seen as crazy. Here's a little article about the Mandela effect on Skeptoid. Um, Basically, this article is just very biased. I'm not going to read the whole thing. The reason I put a link to it is because I wanted to show you just more propaganda, just more articles that are biased against people who believe in anything that's labeled a conspiracy theory, right? And I could go into this, but this video is getting really long, and I don't want to go into it. It's just basically an article that is biased against people who believe in the Mandela effect. It's basically calling them an idiots if they believe in the Mandela effect. Here's an example. At first glance, it seems like this must be something different. It's no surprise any of us individually might remember something wrong, but for a whole group to share an identical false memory seems to suggest that there might be a new phenomena at work. It's been called the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is named for one of its most famous examples. Um, he didn't actually die until 2013, and every time his name came up, these same people said, "Wait a minute, I thought he was dead." Now, this group who erroneously remembered that Mandela had died. I want you to pay attention to the language here. Erroneously remembered that the Mandela had died. Now, it's a small thing, but it's language. It could have said, now this group who believed, or this group who remembered. What if he just would have said, now this group who remembered, or who believed that Mandela had died did not include me. If he would have said that, it would have been more neutral. But he didn't say that. What he said was, now this group who erroneously remembered that Mandela had died did not include me. Now, that language right there, it's basically saying that they're wrong. These people are wrong. It's when he says erroneously remembered, he's saying they're wrong. Okay? But I'm sure some people thought he had, and he italicized some. I'm sure some people thought he had. Why did he italicize some there? He italicized some because he was trying to put that connotation on it. He was trying to put that edge on it that gets lost in the written word. When he says it, if he would have said that, he would have said, "I'm sure that some people thought he had." Why do you italicize some there? You italicize some because you're trying to put a connotation on it. Some people, meaning the crazy people or the weird people, right? One who did was psychic ghost hunter Fiona Broome, right? Psychic ghost hunter. That in itself discredits her, right? That does not make people take her seriously. Oh, she's a psychic and a ghost hunter. Oh, she's double crazy. This chick's double crazy. She's a psychic and a ghost hunter. Two highly discredited, controversial fields, right? Anyways, I'm not going to go on into this. It's a long article, but basically it's a very biased against people who believe in the Mandela effect. That's what it is. And I pointed it out because I wanted you to see the language that was being used here. And this is why No one really takes conspiracy theories seriously. And even if they did take them seriously, they wouldn't make a thing about it because they don't want to be labeled this way. They don't want to be labeled the crazy person or the eccentric person. People want to be a part of society. Inherently, humans want to fit in. We want the validation and acknowledgement of our fellow man. That's human nature. It's emotionally hardwired into us to want to be validated and acknowledged by other humans. So anything that would make us not validated or not acknowledged by other humans, we tend to shy away from. That's basic human psychology. So, anyways, keep it in mind. Um, so why Fiona Broom? We think about conspiracy theories. It's like, why did Fiona Broom? Why is she always linked to discovering this Mandela effect thing? I'm sure this kind of thing happened. Not 2009, right? The term Mandela effect was coined by blogger Fiona Broom. Blogger Fiona Broom. Oh, she's just a blogger, right? And she's a ghost hunter and a psychic. Right? So highly discredited, right? Fiona Broom is a well-respected old-timer in paranormal research. She specializes in paragenealogy and paranormal patterns of activity that predict anomalies. This is not credible, right? This bio discredits her, right? Fiona Broom explains the meaning and origins of the phrase Mandela effect. It came from a 2009 conversation at Dragon Con. I guarantee you that people were experiencing these kind of events before 2009. So they just, who put her at the core of this? Who put her at the core of this? Whoever put her at the core of this was probably trying to lump Mandela effect into conspiracy theories. No matter if they were trying to lump it into conspiracy theories or not, none of it seemed to matter until 2015, 2016, leading up to the presidential election. But what I'm saying is, this whole thing where Fiona Broom has been kind of like, they've kind of labeled her as the founding father of the Mandela effect. What I'm saying is, it makes it a conspiracy theory. It fits in perfectly. Like, it's almost too perfect. Here's this paranormal ghost hunter psychic. She's a psychic and a ghost hunter, and she's a blogger. So, yeah, it's just like, it's almost picture perfect conspiracy theory, right? Anyways, conspiracy theories can take hold of a person and cause varying degrees of obsession, right? And as you guys know, as I've experienced with the Mandela effect, you get a little obsessed with it and you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. It's crazy. Um, Now, distraction from other important things in one's life is a side effect of obsession, right? We get distracted from other important things in our lives because we're obsessed with this one thing that seems so damn important to us, right? A conspiracy theory can effectively take away your knowledge and replace it with doubt. Something like the Mandela effect can make you doubt everything. And I said that before, but guys, it's absolutely true. The Mandela effect can be insidious. It will make you doubt everything from your personal history to the movies you've watched to your own memory. It makes you doubt everything. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you doubt things around you. It makes you doubt everything. I can't think of a more insidious. I can't think of a more insidious um, conspiracy theory. I mean, think about it, guys. You can believe in Bigfoot. You could even believe in flat Earth. None of those things are going to attack your way of life like the Mandela effect. If you truly buy into the Mandela effect, then you can doubt everything. You literally could doubt everything. It almost makes it dangerous to really truly buy into it. Now, look, Occam's razor. Why did I put that there? Occam's razor is the problem solving principle that essentially states the simpler solutions are more likely to be correct than complex solutions, right? When presented with a competing hypothesis, when presented with competing hypotheses to solve a problem, one should select the solution with the fewest assumptions, right? And a lot of people summarize Occam's razor by saying the simplest answer is probably the right answer. That's not true. That's an oversimplification of Occam's razor. Occam's razor states that the solution with the fewest assumptions is probably the right answer. Basically, the thing with the fewest assumptions and the most facts is probably the right answer. And that's why whenever I look at problems like the Mandela effect, I like to look at data because data presents us with facts. Okay. Now, the Mandela effect, you guys, it feels very real to me. All right. There are many of these effects that defy explanation, in my opinion. They do, they defy explanation. However, the data indicates that the Mandela effect is only targeting certain countries, namely America and those other countries that are influenced by American culture. Um, Occam's razor tells me that this is a sign of manipulation, right? Occam's razor is telling me that this is a sign of manipulation. All right. So then the last thing I want to talk about for the middle here, and then we'll move on into wrapping this up. The last thing I want to talk about is psychic warfare. Okay, Psy war. I know this is kind of weird, but I want you guys to hear me out on this. Okay, psychological warfare. The basic aspect of modern psychological operations have been known by many names or terms. Okay, political warfare, psyops, hearts and minds, propaganda. The term is used to denote any action which is practiced mainly by psychological methods with the aim of evoking a planned psychological reaction in other people. Various techniques are used and are aimed at influencing a target audience's value system, belief system, and emotions, motives, reasoning, or behavior. It is used to induce confessions or reinforce attitudes and behaviors favorable to the originator's objectives, and are sometimes combined with black operations or false flags tactics. It is also used to destroy the morale of enemies through tactics that aim to depress troops' psychological states. Target audiences can be governments, organizations, groups, and individuals. It's not just limited to soldiers. Civilians of foreign territories can also be targeted by technology and media so as to cause an effect in the government of their country. So you got to wonder something like the Mandela effect that makes you pretty much doubt everything. Could that cause an effect in the way we see our government? Could that cause an effect in how we see the world around us? And I mean, I don't have to tell you guys absolutely. I'm not saying the Mandela effect is psychological warfare on our country, but what I am telling you is it would be a perfect weapon, wouldn't it? If the Mandela effect was a weapon that was used against the country, it truly would be very good psychological warfare. If you could get a large number of people in the country to believe in one thing while the other half of the country doesn't believe in this thing, and then there's dissent. There's dissent, right? This would be a great weapon if it was psychological warfare. The only problem is, how do they do it? How would they even do that? Doesn't make any sense, does it? The only thing I could think of, if I was going to theorize, and I'm not saying this is what's happening, I'm just I'm theorizing here. Would it be possible, like mass hypnosis? Could you do like mass hypnosis on an entire region, and in half of the people it takes, and in the other half maybe it doesn't take? That's why you got some people seeing the Mandela effect stuff, and you got some people not seeing it because the hypnosis was more effective on some people than others. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how you would do mass hypnosis. I don't know a lot about mass hypnosis. And yeah, to me, it does sound crazy. But why would I not explore things that sound crazy when I'm looking at the Mandela effect, which in itself sounds crazy? The fact of the matter is, when I look at the data and I look at what psychological warfare is, you cannot ignore it because it fits so perfectly into this category of psychological warfare. When you look at how only one country is being targeted, when you look at how everything spikes up around the time of the presidential election, it's hard to ignore it. You cannot ignore it. It's not a coincidence. Anyways, that's it for the middle. Let me go ahead and check the comments real quick, and then I'll wrap this thing. I can get to the end of this thing. All right. What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good out there. I know I'm getting into some crazy, weird stuff here, but I want to let you guys know what I find. I want to let you know what I see. You know, I want to let you know about the conversation in my mind. I want to move the Mandela effect conversation forward, right? And guys, what I'm seeing right now is possible manipulation. That's what I'm seeing right now. Okay, let's move into the end. Debates. Saw a couple debates, guys. Bean versus Shrum. If you look this debate up on YouTube, you'll find two people debating the Mandela effect. Two preachers, debating the Mandela effect. And what I found was, let me get this. Let me go ahead and get this popping off for you. So this is a debate between two preachers, Bill Bean and Kevin Shrum. The moderator is Daniel OTT. So if you type in Bill Bean debate whatever, you'll find this video. It's very interesting. It's about an hour and a half long. And it's one of these guys, Bill Bean. He believes in the Mandela effect. He believes these changes are happening like in the Bible. They focus on the Bible here because they're preachers. And Kevin Shrum doesn't believe it. Now, what I find interesting is that some of the things that Kevin Shrum denies, like it makes no sense. It's like he either denies things that like his explanations don't make any sense. Like it doesn't make any sense why he would believe that. It's almost ridiculous that he would believe that. And then some of the things he just avoids. He avoids answering. So they go back and forth. But I definitely think that Bill Bean gets the upper hand in the debate for sure. And I do think that's weird. I do think that's really weird because we got a guy here who like refuses to see the changes, right? And when you look back on, okay, so there's that. There's that. So you can look that debate up yourself. And then Stavely versus Foster is another debate that I just learned about recently from watching Moneybags' channel. And this video actually links to Moneybags' video on the uh, the debate, not the debate itself. And the reason I did that is because I want you guys, if you're gonna go check this debate out, just go through Moneybags' channel, man. Moneybags does so much in the Mandela Effect community. He really, really does a lot for the community. So if you're gonna watch this debate, it's called the Great Mandela Effect Debate. Just go over to his channel, find this video. He links out to the debate. Be sure to just make a pit stop at his channel, give him a thumbs up and a shout out, man. He does awesome work in this Mandela Effect community. But the point is, in this debate, Stavely is a guy who really knows the Mandela effect inside and out. Foster, who he's debating against, like he is so uninformed and so ill-equipped to do this debate. He doesn't know enough about the Mandela effect to debate against it. He's so unqualified for this debate. Um, he just doesn't appear to know, and I don't. And at first, it made me like question everything. Like, why is this guy even invited to the debate? He clearly hasn't done his research on the Mandela effect. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Um, but then I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about that whole like mass hypnosis thing. And I was thinking about the Bill Bean one over here, and well, I was thinking about the Bill Bean one over there, and I was thinking like, it's weird that it's really weird. I think I closed my window, guys. Sorry. It's really weird that when you see people denying this effect, their denials they don't make sense half the time. It's like they're just not seeing it. Have you guys ever tried to explain the Mandela effect to people and they just didn't get it? They no matter what definitive proof you put in front of them, they just would not accept it. It was almost like they were under a trance. And I've heard people say before, it's like people are under a trance and they don't see it. They just don't get it. Like, I don't understand how they're not seeing it. This was clearly this way before, but people won't see it. They won't see it. It's like they're under some kind of trance. And then I start thinking, wow, you know what? If people were mass hypnotized, if there was like some kind of mass hypnosis that happened, they would kind of be in a trance, wouldn't they? They would just refuse to see the changes. They would refuse to see what's happening. And that blew me away, man. That absolutely blew me away when I start thinking about that. So you look up these two debates, and you can look up any debates, but you guys probably really don't have to, do you? You probably know because you probably tried to convince someone about this effect, and they either bought into it and believed you, or they completely denied it and they wouldn't hear anything about it. They didn't want to hear anything about it. The point is, in both of these debates, the deniers of the effect are either A, ignorant and uneducated on the changes, or B, unable to explain certain changes or willing to explain them in a way that absolutely does not make any conceivable sense, right? Which to me would be signs of some kind of hypnosis or trance. When you present data to somebody that is irrefutable data, but they still try to find really weird, bizarre explanations for why they are happening, that is a sign that, they're not thinking clearly. Point blank. It's a sign that they're not thinking clearly. So I wanted to point that out when it comes to debates. And then my final thoughts on this, guys. Number one, is the Mandela effect a conspiracy theory? Like, things are changing everywhere in the world on an unprecedented scale. From my point of view, many of these things defy explanation by the most stalwart of critics. However, the data tells a different story, right? That's what I thought. Right here is what I thought, but the data tells a different story. The data is telling a story of manipulation. If in fact the Mandela effect is a global phenomenon and has been happening everywhere, then why do people only seem to care about it in America? That doesn't make sense. And it's a sign that we're being manipulated in some way. Why did all these supposed conspiracy theories spike in popularity around the time of the US presidential election of 2016? If you commit fully to the idea of the Mandela effect, you will probably be labeled crazy, or at the very least eccentric, and an outcast by society, basically from taken seriously to effectively disregarded. Essentially, your voice will be taken away if you believe in this stuff, right? That's a conspiracy theory. So anything with the label of conspiracy theory essentially takes your voice away if you believe in it, right? Now, guys, with this channel, I want to move the conversation of the Mandela effect forward with the use of analytical data and research. I don't aim to make it entertaining, right? I want to look at all angles and discover the truth. Now, let me get off of this. Let me get off of this screen share really quick. All right, guys. Before I get off here, I just want to kind of wrap this up for you. When I look at all this data, and I know this has been a long video, I mean, to me, the data points to some kind of artificial manipulation. Um, let's be honest. Um, when we think about the Mandela effect, we think about it like a global phenomenon. It's affecting things all over the world. Why would only people in America care about it? That doesn't make sense. I mean, it appears that we're being targeted in America. Um, it's the only thing that makes sense, guys. It's the only thing that makes sense. Why would these conspiracy theories all spike up around the time of the US presidential election? It doesn't make sense. All this data points to artificial manipulation. So if you're out there right now and you're thinking the Mandela effect is overwhelming, it could be the end of days. It's we're going into a whole nother space, or we're going into a whole nother dimension, or whatever. We're transcending to another realm or something. All those people out there who think that. First of all, I'm not trying to cut you down. I'm not trying to say that's not happening. But I do want you to maybe take comfort in some of the information I showed you, um, because it would appear that you're being manipulated, that we are being manipulated. I'm not talking at you, I'm talking with you. It would appear that we are being manipulated as a society. Anyways, keep in mind, if you know someone who you think this video might bring some comfort to, because personally, I'll be honest with you guys, it's not necessarily bad news. Much rather feel like some stupid country is trying to manipulate us than feel like, the world is about to end and everything's changing from the Great Delusion or something. You know what I'm saying? Um, at least I know it's just base level garbage, psychological warfare. Although, what are the implications of that? I don't know. I mean, man, if you can mass hypnotize an entire country, um, how would they do it? I mean, how would they do it? Like through computers, maybe? Maybe target computers with some kind of subconscious like code I don't know. I don't know. It sounds crazy to me, but I mean the data kind of points in that direction. So, anyways, I do take comfort in it a little bit because it's just base level human garbage. It's not supernatural as it appears. At this point in time, when I look at the data, it appears more like psychological warfare and less like playing around with time. But, anyways, that's just me. The point of the matter is, and the point of this video is, it doesn't matter what I think because if I just wanted to know what I think, I wouldn't have made this video. I made this video because I wanted to let you guys know about the conversation happening in my mind and I wanted to know what you thought. So it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what you think. So let me know in the comment section what you think about all this crazy stuff I just talked about. And I can't wait to hear from you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody.